Hey guys, it's Josh. Welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me today. Today I'm at the second of my reveals and today's location is the George train station. It was built, as far as I can tell, before 1924. The reason I say before 1924 is because the first reference that I can get to the George line was when they completed the line between here and Knysna. What they described as a very beautiful line that took them 4 years to complete due to a very technical terrain, that being the ups and downs of the mountains, the coastline, and of course the estuaries and the swamps or low-lying areas that they had to get through to get into Knysna. It's quite an incredible trip that must have been. Unfortunately, I haven't been on such a trip. I wish I could have gone, but they shut down these services a couple of years ago before I had the pleasure of taking the trip. From what I can gather, it was quite a prestigious event, as was everything to do with the rails at that time, because rail was the booming transport. Even before then, there was apparently a race between Cape Town and Durban, that private companies that actually owned the rails, running into the interior, with the discovery of diamonds and gold at the time. It led to a massive race to get the railway lines into the interior, to get the raw materials out, either to the British colonies or out to the east. There is a few reports that I have seen. People are very disappointed about the state of the railway line here in George, well, the station as such. A couple of people are wondering why it isn't being kept up. There is the Rovos rail that comes through here every once in a while, Rovos being a very prestigious train to ride on, but the place hasn't been kept up. Apparently letters to the Transnet officers why the upkeep hasn't been up to standard have been met by deaf ears. Up and down the rails there's lots of grass growing, there's litter everywhere. It's just falling into disrepair. It seems like the management is not taking anything serious, and it's sad to see that what could be an icon of George is just being let to fall into disrepair. Perhaps something like privatization would change the way this looks. I'm sure that if they put this into the hands of a private developer, they would be able to get it back up to what it should be, and maybe even get some services back into the running. I mean, who wouldn't enjoy a short trip down to Mossel Bay, up to Knysna, across to Othe? At the moment, I think there is a power van that runs up the mountain to the Montague Pass. That runs from the Transnet Railway Museum, which is across the way. Across from the George station, obviously, is the sawmill. Sawmill has obviously been here almost from the beginning of George, or could be attributed to the beginning of George, because unlike most of the cities or towns along the garden route, George wasn't a farming community as such. It was actually the woodcutters that started up the village, that started staying here to harvest the indigenous forests, to harvest the stinkwood and the yellowwood. The sawmill is very quiet today, usually bustling with activity. I'd like to know from you guys, if you guys had the opportunity to take over the railway line, if you had the opportunity to take over the business that is inside the railway station, would we see an improvement? Would we see a boom over here? At the moment it's used for the Intercape offices, obviously the bus pickup. But would you do something different? What would you do differently to bring life into this icon? I mean, this has obviously been almost 100 years that the train station has been here. So what would you guys do differently? It's just sad to me to see something just keep on going down and down and down. Surely there must be something we can do. When I look across at the Railway Museum from here, there is a lot of carriages there. What do you guys think of the idea of repurposing the old carriages? These carriages are obviously just left here to rot. There's no hope for them actually being on the rails again. I don't think any rail company would literally drag them around the country for safety reasons. But if you could repurpose those as accommodation, build up maybe a little neighborhood of small townhouses in the railway cars, if I could say that, would that be something that would be viable? Would it be feasible? The owners of the railway cars, Transnet, haven't replied to emails that I've sent to them regarding the purchasing or the leasing or the donation of such rail cars. But perhaps there's someone out there who has an idea. Perhaps we could use those, get a piece of land, put up what's maybe 50 of these rail cars, you split them up into 3 little houses themselves. If you were given one of these, would you make a fairly decent home for someone out of them? There's such a problem with housing in the country at the moment, and yet these are left to rot, so to speak. Nothing being done with them. What can be done with them? Maybe let me know in the comments. Maybe there is something we can do to change someone's life with this. Is it feasible at a time of economic uncertainty, when no one really knows what is going to happen? Isn't it a good time now to try and use our labor force? Use the people that don't have work. Use the people that have lost their jobs. Use their skills. Use their resources. Pull them together and make something good. Make something great. We don't have to change the world, but if we can change someone's world, isn't it worth it? Everybody's looking for a way out. Everybody's looking just to make it through the day. What would you do to change something? What would you do to make a difference? Let me know in the comments. I like comments. Thank you for joining me on my trip today. I hope you enjoyed the reveal I had for you. If you have any tips or any comments, leave them in the comments below. If you like what I'm doing, hit the like button. And if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you get notified as soon as the video comes out. I'd like to thank you for joining me. And as always, stay safe and stay strong. If you want to see more of my reveals, hit the subscribe button and I shall... Hi guys, thank you for joining me on my reveal today. If you like the footage that I put out, this guy keeps on walking behind me. Can he make up his mind?